Unanimous consent that the quorum be dispensed with.
Without objection.
Today, Mr. President, our prayers are with the people of Southern California impacted by the wildfires that have spread over the past few days. The images of homes, schools, places of worship burning are terrifying and almost surreal. I've been briefed on the latest efforts by federal and state officials to contain these fires. Sadly, there's a lot of work left to do before this crisis is over. Right now, it's vital that our firefighters, medical workers, and first responders have everything they need from the federal government to combat the flames and rescue people from danger. The Senate just passed, fortunately, a sweeping disaster aid package precisely for these kinds of emergencies. But now we must ensure all necessary disaster aid goes out the door as quickly as possible and is given to the people who need it and need it most. Finally, the worst wildfire in Los Angeles history should happen. The fact that the worst wildfire in Los Angeles history should happen in the dead of winter is another warning of the dangers of climate change. Extreme weather events will continue to happen regularly and will get worse if we don't tackle the climate crisis head-on. We pray for the people of Southern California, and we thank all of our brave first responders working without rest to keep people safe. Now, today's vote. This afternoon, the Senate is going to hold its first procedural vote on the Lake and Riley Act. I expect that this bill will have enough votes from both parties to proceed. If we get on the bill, Democrats want to have a robust debate where we can offer amendments and improve the bill. On the first day of the 119th Congress, my good friend, the Republican leader, Senator Thune, said he wants to make the Senate a place, quote, where all members should have a chance to make their voices heard, unquote. Well, this bill would be a fine place to start. We should allow debate and amendments on the bill. This is an important issue. We should have a debate and amendments, and that's why I am voting yes on the motion to proceed. To remind my colleagues, this is not a vote on the bill itself. This is a motion to proceed, a vote that says we should have a debate and should have amendments. Now on the GOP taxes and our Democratic agenda. Each day, it's becoming clearer that the new Trump administration will look a lot like the old one. Chaos for Republicans, bad news for working Americans. That's what this new Trump administration already looks like, just like they did 4 years ago. All week long, Republicans have tripped over themselves to try to figure out how they're going to hurt everyday Americans through their agenda. All this talk about one bill or two bills, all this talk about one bill or two bills is irrelevant. That's just Washington insider machinations. Americans need to know the real story. Republicans are united on using their new majorities to cut taxes for the ultra-wealthy at the expense of working people. It doesn't matter if it's one bill or two bills when they're doing so much to hurt working Americans and only help those who probably need help the least, the very least, by and large. All these promises we heard from Republicans about fighting for the working class didn't even make it to Inauguration Day. They're back to trying to cut taxes for the ultra-wealthy and mega corporations. Look, I have no problem against those who are fortunate enough to have a lot of money. God bless them. But they need to pay their fair share, and almost all Americans would agree with that. So it's truly stunning, it's revealing, that Republicans are already spending so much energy trying to figure out the best way to make taxes for the very wealthy even lower. We're already seeing a glaring contrast between how Democrats use their time in power and what We're already seeing a glaring contrast between how Republicans use their time in power and what Democrats believe in. A little later this afternoon, Senate Democrats will convene on the Senate steps for our first major press conference, where we will outline our priorities and where they lie in the 119th Congress. We need to lower costs for working and middle-class people. not reward the ultra-rich and America's biggest corporations. If Republicans want to work with us on real policies that lower costs for real working Americans, we're glad to partner with them. But if Republicans try to sell out our children's future with multi-trillion-dollar tax cuts that only help those at the very top, we will fiercely, fiercely oppose them. Now on nominations. The American people have a right to know if President-elect Trump's cabinet nominees are going to fight for them. Will they lower people's costs? Will they be loyal to the country and the Constitution? Or will they cater to their wealthy benefactors like the first Trump administration? Will they try to undo the wellsprings of democracy? We can answer these questions through a robust nomination process in the Senate. But when Republicans, like the chairman of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee, try to rush nominees before senators have even received basic information, such as background reports, Americans have to ask, what are Republicans trying to hide when they don't want their nominees to have background checks and don't want to have full information about them? These nominees will have enormous power. Every American has to go through a background check, be asked questions when they're applying for a job. Well, these jobs are so important, of course this should happen here. But so far, some of the Republican chairs of committees are resisting, and that doesn't speak well for the qualifications or the confidence they have in their nominees. In the last 2 days, the chairman of the Committee on Energy and Natural Resources has noticed hearings on not one, but 2 of President Trump's nominees without minority consent. Governor Doug Burgum to be Secretary of the Interior and Chris Wright to be the Secretary of Energy. These 2 positions, Secretary of Interior, Secretary of Energy, will be tasked with managing our natural resources and our clean energy future. They'll be responsible for protecting the good-paying clean energy jobs created under President Biden. And I'd remind my Republican colleagues, those jobs are in red states as much as they are in blue states. The American people deserve to know if these cabinet nominees will protect good-paying clean energy jobs, or will they kill these jobs and put a lot of people out of work for some ideological thing they're chasing. Yet, Senate Democrats on the committee have yet to receive basic information about either of these nominees' backgrounds. Republicans choosing to rush nominees is quickly becoming a pattern. It's hard not to wonder, what are the Republicans trying to hide about these nominees from the American people? What are they trying to hide? What are they afraid of? Now, finally, I want to end on a more personal but also a bittersweet note. You know, Mr. President, I have had great staff through all my years in the Senate and in the House. I owe everything to them. They work so damn hard, and they're so dedicated, and they're so smart and so creative and so caring. So to say that this is one of the best I've ever had is really high tribute. But Matt Fuentes, my top health policy advisor for 8 years, is one of the very, very, very best I have ever had. 8 years. Amazing. Matt, I want to thank you for your amazing work. I'm so proud of what you've accomplished for us, for New York, and for the country. Matt was, as I said before, I have the best staff in the world, and Matt was no exception. He joined my team and immediately got to work helping defend the ACA when Republicans tried to repeal it in 2017. He was instrumental in passing COVID relief, which saved thousands of lives. He led insulin reform policy. Now people are getting insulin in Medicare recipients for $35. I don't think it would have happened without this guy sitting right here next to me. He figured out the ways to get it done. It's not easy. And he helped us lower drug prices for millions of other Americans because, as you know, as of the 1st of January, there's a cap of how much any senior citizen can pay for all the drugs they use, as well as negotiations that have been now allowed so that Medicare can negotiate with the drug companies, and 10 of the most popular drugs prices are going way down. Anyone who's worked with Matt will agree on one thing. He possesses a rare gift. It's true, this is amazing. He can translate the most complex policy into clear and direct essentials while grasping the core difficult political issues at play. I can recall many times, probably more than either of us would want to admit, when I called Matt at 7 in the morning, at midnight, "Matt, what about this? What about that?" He never got mad. He was always very factual and matter-of-fact and would answer and solve the problem. So he's amazing. And despite all the stressful situations that the job put him in, Matt always radiated calmness, confidence. He never wavered under pressure. In fact, that's when he was at his best. When everyone else in the room was trying to prove they were right and others were wrong, he had this special ability to bring people together on both sides of the aisle. So much of what we did were bipartisan, and that's the reason, right here. It was a sight to behold to watch Matt. And again, I just have to say, with all the pressure and everything going on, and having a new family, a new young family with a beautiful child, still two, now there are two, he stayed cool as a cucumber. I don't know if they use that expression these days. My mother uses that one. It's probably out of date. Have you heard it, Mr. President, from your mother too? Cool as a cucumber? Matt was cool as a cucumber throughout all of it. Thoughtful, kind, generous. He knows when to be serious, but doesn't take himself seriously. He's always seeking to help and is never afraid to hold strong for what he believes is right. You know, my wish for every senator, regardless of our ideology, is that you have a Matt Fuentes sometime, someplace on your staff working on some important issue. And I do want to say one thing. I hate seeing Matt leave. He's one of the best, as I said, I've ever had. But we have a new successor to Matt, who was his deputy, who I know will fill his large shoes. So thank you very much, Elizabeth. Okay, Matt, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. Not just for me, but for everything you've done for America and Americans. Your legacy, no matter what else you do in life, is there. There are literally going to be huge numbers of people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, who are alive, who are healthier because of you. What an amazing legacy. God bless you, Matt. Good luck. Good luck to your nice wife, to your great little kids. I know you'll do other great things, but forever, 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 you will be part of the Schumer family and one of the best members of it. Thank you very much. I yield the floor.